Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are continuing with our third and last math subtraction strategy, and that is the strategy of compensation. Hopefully, that sounds familiar to you, because compensation was one of the strategies that we talked about with adding. Well, finally, here's a strategy that works for adding and subtracting. So, let's have a bit of a review first. Okay, so when we were subtracting, the first thing we looked at was called subtracting part. Now that was a strategy that was a lot like our splitting strategy and adding. We're just going to take our minuend, our big number, and we're going to subtract our subtrahend, the number we're subtracting, the smaller one. So I might split this into tens and ones, and I might say 35, take away 2 tens, so 3 tens minus 2 tens will leave me 1 10. And 5 minus 3 will leave me with 2. So the difference between 35 and 23 is 12. Now remember, when we're doing subtracting, we talk about an answer that's a difference. Remember that silly error I made last time? Goodness. Okay, so that's the difference. How far 35 and 23 are apart on a number line? There's 12 numbers between 23 and 35. That's why we call it a difference. Then we looked at a strategy called the constant difference, and we decided that that name stunk. And instead we called it share the love. So what we need to do here is we look at the 8 perhaps and we say, that would be much nicer if we just added 2 more and made it a 10. But we have to share the love. If we add 2 here, you have to add here 2 here as well. So there we would have 24 minus 10. That's going to give us the same difference, the same number apart on the number line. So 24 minus 10, easy peasy, 14. So there's a bit of a review, and today we're going to look at our compensation strategy. So it is a little more weird, I will admit, with subtraction, so make sure you pay close attention to this part, and if you need to, rewind and watch it a couple of times, because it is really simple, but it is a challenge to wrap your brain around. So I look at this and I say 20 minus 8. Boy, that 8 is just wishing that there was 2 more. If there was 2 more, it could take away 10. 20 minus 10, my goodness, that would be easy to do. So we start with our minuend, which is 20, and it wants us to subtract 8 and then subtract 8, but we're wishing it's a 10, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, you know what? I'm going to subtract your 8, but then I'm going to grant his wish and say, you know what? I'm going to take away 2 more. Because together, this will make the 8's wish of 10, right? Okay, so 20 minus 10, oh, that's easy peasy. 20 minus 10 gives me 10. And then what I have to do is I have to kind of crush this little guy's dream. I can't really say that 20 minus 10 is the question because it's not. I really just need to take away 8. So what I'm going to do is that we gave the gift of 8, we compensated, but now we're going to give it right back and say, no, it's not really there. So I have to add my 2 back in. So really, 20 minus 8 is 12. I can say 20 minus 10, but then my distance is too far because I only need to go 8. So I got to close that distance a little bit. Got to make a smaller difference. So let's try another one because it is really, really tricky. Okay, so 62 minus 35. Can you guess what my 2 is thinking here, my 62? My 62 is wishing, I wish we had 2 less. If I had 2 less, I'd be a nice little 60, and that would be lovely. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to write down my minuend, and then I'm going to say, you know what, that minuend, we're going to grant his wish. And we're going to say, okay, you know what, we'll take 2 away, and we'll make you 60. All right, now he's happy. That 60 is an awfully friendly number. Maybe I can split now, and I can say 60 take away 30. That's 30. And, well, let's do it, actually. 60 minus 30 will give me 30. And now 60 minus, now I did the 30, got to do the 5. Minus 5, there's my minus 35. 30 minus 5 is 25. But really, now I have to take care of this. If I went 2 that way, I got to take it back and go the other way. So now I got to go back in here and say, no, sorry to break your heart. There's actually 2 in there, right? If I took 2 away to make a friendly number, I got to give that 2 back. So 25 plus 2 is 27. And that's my answer. That's my difference. Okay, so it's a little tough. We will go over it maybe again this week. And if you have questions, by all means, review the video or definitely ask. After this week, you get to choose the strategies that you like the best. So stick in there. Let's see if we can get this compensation thing done. Remember, the major trick is if you give it some, you got to make sure that arrow goes the other direction and you take it back. It might be on this end of the number line, or it might be right in the beginning. I took 2 more, I took 2 away, I gotta give it back again. So if you have an arrow go this way, you gotta have an arrow go back again. All right, last part, and I'll stop talking your ear off. We are going to compensate this week. Use an open number line like the examples you have, and here are the questions that you can work on this week. Thanks for listening.